Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to our viewers around the world. On behalf of Humanity First, today you are joining us for what is a historic occasion for Humanity First as we launch our food bank in the United Kingdom in the town of Mirfield in Yorkshire. Our volunteers have worked very hard over the past few weeks, so let's see what they've been up to.
As everyone knows, food poverty is a massive thing in this country now, and there's families with small children who do not have any food in their cupboards, vulnerable people with no shopping. Here we are again at Humanity First, our new food bank in Mirfield. We'd just like to show you around, tell you a little bit about what we've been doing over the past few weeks. In the beginning, the shell, it was empty, all run down. And then we got a team of volunteers together, put a shout out for some items, what we need. Within a few weeks, some people donated all the shelving. People came in, did all the decorating, the carpet tiles, and we've had a desk donated, a computer, a printer, all the seating. All the work what's been done has been totally voluntary. All the food has been donated from supermarkets in the area, and we have carrier bags which we hand out to people and they bring back with a few donations. So all this stock has been donated by members of the public. There's breakfast cereals, there's milk, soup, beans, bread, toiletries, snacks, biscuits. There's every food item that you can think of, really. That's for any single parents, vulnerable, anybody who needs food. We'd like to say thank you to everybody who's been involved, all the volunteers, because we couldn't do it without you, the supermarkets, everybody in the local area, and hopefully the impact what we'll have will be beneficial to all those vulnerable and needy families, especially in this economic climate.
Wow, that is some amazing work being done over there in the past few weeks. We will shortly be going live over to Mirfield, where the opening ceremony will take place. Just as a background to the work that's been going on, Humanity First is global. And during this COVID crisis specifically, Humanity First has been responding and providing support in 75 countries currently. We've managed to mobilize over 3,500 volunteers who have donated over 800,000 hours of service, which is huge. And we've managed to serve so far over 750,000 beneficiaries. But I think the statistic which I saw the other day, which really brings it home to me, is being able to provide over 10 million meals globally, which is a great feat for Humanity First, and it's to show that how our volunteers have been able to give their time and sacrifice their finances as well. To the donors as well. We'd like to thank all the donors who have made this possible. You will see today that and you saw from that short video that without our donors, without our volunteers, our work could never carry on. So from the food bank, the video that you saw, it literally was a show when we got the premises, and the team have worked day and night over the past few weeks to get that going. So we'll shortly be going over there to Mirfield for the ribbon cutting. There you can see we are nearly there. We're waiting for the mayor, and he will be with us shortly, and we will proceed with the rest of the event. One of the other things, I had the honor of visiting the food bank a few weeks ago, and the locals that have helped, we've had a couple of amazing local volunteers, which you may see today. Paula, who you saw in the video, actually, who since we've started running, they have been bringing food to the the bank every day. They've been continuous. They've been helping. More importantly, they've been getting the word out in Mirfield and the surrounding areas. And I think, like I said, their dedication is second to none, and we would not have been able to progress as quickly as we've done in such a short period of time, and manage to get this project on up off the ground. We are looking to extend this into other parts of the country as well. I believe the mayor is about to arrive very shortly, and we should be able to go over to Mirfield shortly, where you will see some of the volunteers. You will hear some addresses from some of the other special guests as well.
These are medical experts, so they'll tell us on the protocol.
Can we check out there, or do we have to just?
I think it would be against government guidance.
All right. Far be it from me to against government guidance.
No. So, are you happy just to do the cutting of the ribbon in due course? Are we about to do that now, please?
Well, customer time.
Somebody should know what's going on. We're ready? Yeah, we're ready. So just behind you, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
We'll cut the ribbon and then we'll.
That should really be on the other side or something.
That's the one you can walk through.
It gives me great joy. I mean, I don't know, before we start, it's great to welcome you into Mirfield as part of our community. I'm sure while you've been building up to this, you'll have seen the many community events and groups that we've got going on. You'll have seen some of those coming through to support you, and I'm sure everybody around here has their own tales. I think before we actually open, I know we've got Hugh and we've got people in Ahmadiyya, we should probably just give thanks for what's going on. I think before I do this, I don't know if you or somebody wants to lead off and give thanks for what we're about to do.
We've got a formal event which
will give an opportunity.
Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, we've got an opportunity.
Go on then. Right, I now declare this open.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Across the lines. Okay.
So that was the ribbon cutting there of the food bank. It's now officially been launched by the local mayor. We're going to go into a short session now where there will be some guest speakers, and including the mayor himself. We have other guests from Morrison's, the supermarket, the community champion, as well as the vicar of Mirfield, the vicar of the Mirfield team parish. Reverend Hugh Baker, who will be joining us today. So we're really looking forward to this. It's an exciting time, and I think we're ready to go over very soon.
And where are we YouTubing today?
All around the world.
The masses.
Whoever's awake at this time, wherever they are. Peace and blessings of God be upon you. Hello and welcome to Mirfield, a truly historic day as we celebrate the opening of the first ever Humanity First Food Bank. We're delighted today to be joined by friends, colleagues and dignitaries and some of the good people of Mirfield. Just for those of you who do not know much about Mirfield, it's an auspicious town in the middle of Kirklees, has its great own identity, and has been very welcoming, and we're very thankful and honoured that we're able to open the first ever Humanity Food Bank in Mirfield today. We don't want to make long speeches, but we have got a short programme of distinguished speakers just to say a few words about the background to this food bank and our plans for the future. So without further ado, I will call the chairman of the Humanity First Food Bank, Dr. Aziz Hafiz, to come and say a few words. Dr. Aziz.
Ladies and gentlemen, Honourable Mayor, Reverend Hugh, Wendy, Paula, Brenda, our volunteers, Dr. Ahmadi Muslim community, and our national president, Mr. Rafiq Hayat, and viewers around the world, welcome to Mirfield and welcome to Humanity First. I will share with you in the 2 minutes allotted to me a brief background to Humanity First. So Humanity First is an international charity, an international NGO that provides essentially disaster relief work and development work across the world and within the United Kingdom. It was formed by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in 1995. Like all other NGOs, it serves irrespective of faith, colour, creed across the world. And our mainstay of work for many years has been disaster relief work and development work within the third world. Within the UK, unfortunately, you wouldn't imagine that there's needs for charities, but as you all know, in the current climate, there's a huge need. Our mainstay of work has been weather-related tragedies, the floods in Cumbria, in Somerset over the recent years, and also food security work. This is our first food bank within the United Kingdom, and I'm just going to share with you a little bit about the background. So we were approached by two very ardent volunteers of Humanity First, Arif, who you've just heard, and Nadeem Ahmed at the back, who is the manager of our food bank. And on the 24th of the 24th of April, I remember the day very, very well, I had a telephone call from both of them. And they're both humanitarians, charity workers. Nadeem works for the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association, doing lots of charitable work, as does Arif. And they work with many, many charities. Also were volunteers with Humanity First, and they said there's a huge need across the area. And we really need to look at actually formulating a premises. Yes, we do a lot of work. And my first reaction was that, yes, excellent idea. Everything costs, and there's a whole process and financial demands. And to cut a long story short, through efforts of lots and lots of people, many of those in this room today, and the people in and around Mirfield, within 28 days, we got the keys to this property. And 4 weeks after that, with lots of labour of love from many volunteers, from the donations of the carpet, the furniture, the computer, the decoration, everything essentially that you see around you has been donated, and donated in kind by volunteers from across society, from within Humanity First, from outside Humanity First, from the people in and around Mirfield. So for that, I'm very, very grateful. Clearly, the somber side of it is that why are we here? You would wish that we are not here as a food bank. Our long-term aim is that we cease to exist. That is the aim. But sadly, the COVID crisis has shown we've got over 170% increase in need for food banks. And that's why we're here. And with help from everybody, we're hoping to give our little bit back. And we're grateful to all the supermarkets. Morrison's is represented here today, Asda, all the other supermarkets that have helped considerably to fill these shelves, and the donations from the public. So that's a little bit of a nutshell about Humanity First. Thank you for joining us for this celebratory day for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Aziz. A very inspiring story, and all of us who've been involved in this very quick project that was put together, we all feel very honoured to be a part of it. But the real work obviously starts now. And our next speaker, who's very shy, but wants just to say a few words, is Wendy Clough, who's the community champion at Morrison's in Heckmondwike. I just want to introduce Wendy. I can say that Morrison's has been absolutely fantastic in the help that they've been providing ever since the beginning of the coronavirus crisis. And Wendy, although it's her job, she's been going over and above everything that needs to be done, and helping so many local charities. So Wendy, would you just like to come and say a few words? Thank you.
Hiya, on behalf of Morrison's, we would like to say thank you very much. Morrison's pledged £10 million to help food banks across the country in this crisis, and I'm very honoured to be part of that and help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. Very short and sweet, and I hope I didn't embarrass you too much. I feel that we should also have a very honourable mention for Paula and Brenda, who have been doing a lot of the collection, not just throughout this coronavirus crisis, but for many months before. They were the ones that introduced us to Wendy at Morrison's. Please remember them and thank them for the great work that they've also been doing, although we're not going to ask you to speak at this stage. Okay, our next speaker, just before I introduce him, obviously Humanity First works with people from all different backgrounds. That's faith organizations and even individuals who don't follow a particular faith. However, these last few months have shown how important faith groups are in terms of the work that they do. There are countless mosques, temples, churches that have been providing relief, practical support. And Mirfield is no different. And we're very lucky and honoured to be joined by Reverend Hugh Baker. I hope I get your title right, Vicar of Mirfield Team Parish, who we met a few days ago and has been giving us an idea of the work that's been going on. So, Reverend Baker, would you like to come and say a few words, please?
Certainly, thank you.
Well, first of all, very warm welcome to you, to Humanity First, and thank you for opening and running then this food bank here in the Mirfield area. And we live in very strange times, it has to be said. The world that we live in is actually full of many inequalities, many of which seem to be woven into the very fabric of the societies that we create around us. And it's probably always been the case. But the way we care for the most vulnerable, for the weakest in our communities, it seems to leave at the moment a lot to be desired. And that's before you take into account the added pressures that things like coronavirus bring. Now, we can, of course, hope and we pray that those who have responsibilities for the structures of society are working to address the inequalities that exist in those structures, and that we are moving towards a better way of caring for those in need. But in the meantime, well, here we are. Food banks is one way, one good way forward. And churches, other faiths, humanitarian groups, people of goodwill, shops, they'll step in and they will fill the gaps as they have always done. So in some ways, it's actually, as you've already said, a sad day that we have to open another food bank here in Mirfield. But this is the world that we live in. And having said that, I do look forward to working with Humanity First as we seek to meet the needs of those that we see in our communities around us. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Baker, for the poignant words. I'm sure all of us echo what you said. And, you know, it's very important that we work together and put aside our differences, which I think many people have seen that we can do. Now, of course, Mirfield has to have a representative. And we're very lucky today to have the first citizen, I believe is what the mayor is called, of Mirfield. Just to, we're not going to argue. It's the mayor today. Just to give a little bit of an introduction, Councillor Martin Bolt, I think has been a councillor for more than 20 years, and I can't think of anyone who has helped to raise the profile of Mirfield more than Mr. Bolt, Councillor Bolt. He's a very humble, quiet person. He lets his words and actions do the talking. And we're very honoured. He's joined us at very short notice, despite having a family bereavement. So we're very lucky, and it's very kind of you, Councillor Bolt, if you could just say a few words as well.
Thank you. It seems a bit strange coming up to lectern because I've neither got a speech prepared nor can I play a musical instrument. But yeah, it's the title, I think, really says it all, Humanity First. And that's something which I think everybody should aspire to. Mirfield has had a rich history in serving humanity and serving communities both at home and abroad. As you'll find out getting to know the area, our spiritual needs were once very well blessed, because not only do we still have the Community of the Resurrection, the Anglican seminary in the area, but also when I was a child, we had the Verona Fathers, the Roman Catholic seminary, so we were making sure that faith was well represented. people from Mirfield and who've trained at Mirfield have gone out and put that faith into practice throughout the world, from Archbishop Trevor Huddleston to more recently the Reverend Richard Coles, former pop star, but now a man of the cloth, and putting that into good faith as well. The community of the resurrection, like yourself, support the community. As Hugh said, we work in straitened times. I think it's an ancient Chinese curse that may you live in interesting times, and goodness me, so we very well do. One of my colleagues was just saying to me today, said, should we start planning the Christmas light switch on, which is usually a big celebration in Mirfield? And I went, well, braver man than I that thinks that we can get ahead with that. We'll certainly be putting Christmas lights up. We'll be remembering things, but whether we can go back to that at this time. You will see as well that Mirfield also celebrates and remembers those who've served with us. We're lucky to have the memorial gardens just on there. I hope that during this time, as has been said earlier, you will make yourself redundant in a short space of time, but that the building can be continued to use for the community. I'm sure there'll be other things that we can do here that you can do. And as Hugh knows, as and when we come out of the current crisis, I've been talking to faith leaders about having some kind of service of remembrance and thanksgiving. And I hope that the Ahmadiyas will be joining. This will be something we'll be having for those of faith and of none, to remember everything that's happened and those who've gone during this time. Thank you for inviting me down. And please take our welcome to Mirfield. You know where we are, and our doors are always open for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for those very warm words, and I'm sure we will be looking forward to working with you. Our final speaker, and we hope the technical side is sorted out. A few weeks ago, many of us would never have heard of Zoom, but today, hopefully, right now, we're going to be joined by Mr. Rafiq Ahmed Hayat, who is the national president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Association in the UK, as well as a trustee of the International Humanity First charity.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Worshipful Mayor, honorable guests, and respected members of the HF team, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. It's a great honor for me to be here today, to be part of this very special ceremony to open a food bank up in the north. For those of our guests, Humanity First is an international charity that provides relief and long-term development assistance to vulnerable communities in 52 countries and 6 continents. The organization is run by volunteers with diverse skill sets across the world and has access to thousands of extra volunteer staff in all the areas: operation, expert medics, engineers, and teachers, often pay their own expense to support the international projects. In 1992, His Holiness Mirza Tahir Ahmed, may God be pleased with him, spoke of the vision of the charity that would help people out of duty purely on the basis of need without any vested interest, saying that the scope of the service of this organization should encompass all human beings. And Humanity First was born. The Humanity First was established in 1995, and today, by the grace and blessing of God, is spread all around the world. His Holiness Mirza Masroor Ahmad, may God be strengthen his hand, the leader of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim community, is our guide and moral compass. Through his wisdom and oversight, Humanity First remains honest and focused on serving humanity. I am very pleased to be part of this team, and the charity is based on the preservation of human life and dignity, and its objectives are to relieve suffering caused by natural disasters or man-made conflicts, promote peace and understanding based upon mutual tolerance and respect, and strengthen the people's capacity to help themselves. During this COVID crisis, we've seen a lot of people go hungry, and Humanity First played a very crucial role of delivering food and medical aid to millions of people around the world. In fact, Humanity First was responsible for feeding 10 million people in different countries. We also had our teams working with the frontline staff who we have the utmost respect for, who dedicated themselves for the service of humanity, and our teams worked very closely with them, providing them with all the things that they required to do their works efficiently. It is a great honor for me to be here today. We're opening our first food bank in the UK, and this is going to be not only the first, but hopefully first of many, many food banks that will open in the UK. And unfortunately, even in a rich country like us, there's huge need for these facilities. And therefore, I'm very pleased that our teams recognize that and are going to try and help the people of this country as well. Obviously, Humanity First works around the world. We provide clean water to people in Africa. We have hospitals and schools in different countries, providing free service. The latest hospital that was opened is in Guatemala, where again, Humanity First is providing service to the people in Guatemala. And there's a lot of work being done in Africa and Asia, where people need our help. I would like to take this opportunity to thank all of the people who are involved with this project, the volunteers who work day and night to make sure that this came possible. And today, by the grace of Allah, we are inaugurating it. I'd also like to thank Morrison's, the supermarket, who's been a crucial member of this team in trying to support us in trying to run this food bank. And there are a lot of local supporters who come and volunteer their time. I'm very grateful to them. May God bless you all. And once again, I'd like to thank all of you who are here today, who have taken the time out on a busy Friday afternoon to come and be with us. My apologies that I cannot be there because of the current crisis. Today was the first time we opened our mosque for prayers, so I have been involved with that opening as well. So my apologies that I could not physically be with you, but our spirit and my prayers are all with you. Many thanks. Allah bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's great that you've been able to join us in spirit. I'm sorry that you will not be able to take some of the cake, the delicious cake that's here, but if there's some left over, hopefully we'll get that to you as well. So thank you once again. It's traditional for us just to finish all of our events with a silent prayer, a moment of reflection in which we give thanks. Comparatively speaking, although we have a lot of difficulties, we are very thankful and grateful that our situation is not as bad as millions of people throughout the world. So there's a lot to be thankful for. And Mr. President, could you just lead us in the traditional end of the ceremony in a silent prayer?
Sure. Will you join me in silent prayer, please? Ameen.
Thank you, Mr. President. That concludes the formal part of our ceremony. Thank you to all of those who've been watching. Thank you to all of you who are here. Please don't rush off. I know some of you are very busy, but we've had a special cake made. We'd like to take some photographs and like to thank you and like to tell you a little bit more about the food bank. So thank you very much for coming. Okay. Right, please.
Auntie, thanks very much. Thanks for the team in Mirfield. That was it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. That was the launch of our food bank in Mirfield. We hope that you enjoyed that little session that we had there, and hopefully you will join us again. Just while I'm here, when we sign off, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's many more activities like this and videos that we have. For example, tomorrow we have an upcoming event, which is the fifth of our series of thought leadership lectures. So join us this Saturday at 2 p.m. for our latest discussion, which I will come to. But I think before that, I think it's best to see the cutting of the cake and the maize there as well. So just like the national president, I can't get to it either, but let's see. I'm sure it's lovely.
Right, excellent. I know, I think she was dying. If you left that, I'm really sorry.
So, as I was saying before, the cutting of the cake, which is a very important part of it, obviously. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's more events that we are currently doing, more in the background, more in the pipeline. So the next event is the fifth in our series of leadership lectures, thought leadership lectures. So join us this Saturday, 2 p.m. That's tomorrow, for our latest discussion, the role of evidence synthesis in combating COVID-19 and the infodemic. Our special guest tomorrow is the CEO of Evidence Aid, Mr. Benjamin Taylor. So he will be with us tomorrow at 2 p.m. here, live on YouTube on the Humanity First channel. We hope you can join us for that. In the meantime, we hope you enjoyed today's program. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you again. Until the next time, thank you and goodbye.